Over 45 of my friends have been killed through violent crime. If I go back, I was bodyguarding, looked after some greats, looked after Biggie Small when he was alive. I looked after Donald Jones, I looked after TLC, I looked after 112, started rapping. I mean, the music thing. I'm the only British rapper ever signed to Wu-Tang.
This week's episode of That Boxing Show with me, Johnny Nelson, is something different. It's the end of the month. I've got a couple of friends that are going to tell you their story, an interesting story. Aaron Casserly Stewart, he's had the highs and lows of life, and he's telling you about prostate cancer. He's telling you about how he dealt with it. Telling you about actually his life, moving from Kansas here to the UK. Then Fredi Nwaka, he's a producer, director, entrepreneur. He tells you about his life growing up on the shores of Dover, the only black man in town. And he had a tough upbringing to what he's doing now, creating films, music, the father of 5, and he's written an amazing book. This is interesting, this is curious, this isn't boxing, but it's something I think will grab your attention. First of all, welcome. It's an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
I think this is probably more of an informative storytelling. I'll probably start with you, Fredi, first. You've got a book, you produce films, you're a man of many talents.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself.
I don't even know where to start. Okay, so right at the beginning. So I was fostered from the age of 3 months old to when I was about 10, grew up in the care system. I was the only black person in the whole town. Got tied to trees, tried to scratch off my skin.
Where was this?
A place called Deal, right by Dover, right by the coast.
Okay.
So yeah, I was brought up there. I was the only black person in the whole town, went through a lot of abuse and things like that. Then I left there, came to live with my real parents. A whole clash of identity. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I thought I was the only black person in the whole town, in the world, should I say. You know what I mean? I'd never seen a black person before. The only black people I'd seen were on jam jars. Do you know what I mean? Or like Tarzan, blackface and so on.
So this was down in Kiel?
Yeah, this was in Deal, yeah.
In Deal. And so to what age were you there?
I was there till I was about 9, 10.
Wow.
Yeah, from 3.
School was like that and everything?
Yeah, everything, man. Everything. I was the black boy, hence why I called my book boy. Because they used to call me the black boy. You know what I mean? I was the black boy. Came to London. Black people didn't like me because I was into Ultravox and I was doing like, come on, Arlene, and dance and all that. Listening to ABBA, Wham, Adamants. So black people didn't like me. White people didn't like me at the time because I was black. So I was that kind of kid that never had no identity. I just used to go in, sit in the playground and play with insects and beetles and just nobody. So I went through that for many years. And then as a result, I've kind of always wanted to be seen at those ages there. Like I was longing for some kind of identity. Got involved in gang culture, which was crazy. Like today, over 45 of my friends have been killed through violent crime. If I go back, I was bodyguarding, looked after some greats, looked after Biggie Small when he was alive. I looked after Donald Jones, I looked after TLC, I looked after 112, started rapping. I mean, the music thing. I'm the only British rapper ever signed to Wu-Tang. Got signed to Wu-Tang Clan. I'm the only British rapper ever signed to Wu. And so I just carried on.
So tell me, wait on a minute, just hold on. You said you're signed to Wu-Tang?
Yeah, I'm the only British rapper ever signed to Wu, man.
Show me what you got, baby.
Let's go.
Spit me something.
Let's go. What, like that?
Spit me something. if you've got it, that'll just fall out your mouth.
Oh, okay, look. Came up on Soul Train, Soul Plane. I was a skinny youth with no frame and no name. Back in those days, most braids came up on Mob Nas in Ghostface. My beard's a ghost face. I had a couple of close shaves. To be fair, I was 30 in most raves, most days. I got away with murder, OJ. Rolling around sipping OJ, listening to Cool J and Coldplay. I was about paper. Would you see myself facing a no face? I used to roll with that thing and I used to roll with a coarse face. Berets watch my movements to Inspector Morseway. But beef, I leave your face the same shade as strawberry sorbet. I was in the hallway by the doorway with guys who made cats and made paper. I'm going to stop there and just carry on. Because I'll be going down and spit bars. I've got a little something.
Wow. Yeah, we rehearsed that. I told you, I'll be the backing dancer. That's a pleasure. That's a pleasure. Saying that, you know, at some point you must have taken yourself over to the States to experience.
Yeah. You know what? I used to watch Yo MTV Raps. Yeah. And I remember seeing this guy doing music and everyone was going crazy, everyone was screaming. I was like, well, he's got friends. He's got friends, you know what I mean? So me, I just wanted friends. So at that early part of my career, I started rapping on the sound, MCing on the sound systems. So I'd MC on like Saxon, Coxsone, First Class, go to Carnival and MC. And that's where I really started the music journey. And then I remember I went to a market and I bought LL Cool J's radio. And that song, Can't Leave On My Radio. So I bought that. I said, nah, I got to rap, man. I got to be a rapper. I got to be a rapper. So I started rapping. And a group called PLV came to the UK and they invited me to the US. And that's where it kind of started from there. Robert Bell from Kool and the Gang became my manager and was flying me in and out of the US. And that's where the whole rap thing came from. So I was in Far Rockaway, Queens for a while. I was in Trenton, New Jersey. So yeah, back and forth to the UK.
Does this sound familiar?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I was out in the States for a bit. I came back. Supported some good people, man. I've rapped, supported DMX before. I've supported some good rappers, man.
Aaron, you're originally from
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah, we were talking earlier.
Yeah,
Grew up next door to Dorothy
Right, and Toto.
and Toto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I ain't never seen a black
We were
person
like
from
this.
Kansas. I'm like, wow.
Wizard of Oz, if you think
Wizard
of
of
Dorothy, Wizard of Oz they're talking
Yeah,
about.
Wizard of Oz, man. I'm like, Kansas, do you know what I mean? I'm waiting for you to tuck your heels together. Wow.
Music was obviously part of your life.
Big part of my life came from a music family. My father and his siblings, he was from a family of 14, and they formed a group called the Silver Voice Quartet back during vaudeville times, back in the 20s and 30s. So music has always been a part of my life, and I started singing at a very young age, and then when I graduated from high school, went off to uni in Minnesota, and started out as a jazz singer. Jazz is my first love. Speaks to me like no other genre. And then a friend of mine named Cynthia Johnson, she's the singer, if you remember the song called Funky Town by Lip Sync, the female vocalist in that song, she suggested that I try out for a group called the Sounds of Blackness. So I did. Didn't make it the first time. The director, Gary Hines, told me to work on chromatics and harmonies and gave me the list of things to work on. So I hired Anita Baker's vocal coach and took a year to do the things that he said, and came back and auditioned, and after my audition he said, "Welcome to the Sounds of Blackness."
Wow.
So I was with them for a long period of time, and then I wanted to be on the artist development side of things and management and that kind of thing. So I moved to LA and took a job with Prince's music director, a guy named Morris Hayes, who's also the band leader of the New Power Generation. And I was his PA. So he took me under his wings and showed me the music industry and how things work behind the artists, behind the scenes. Worked with him for 3 years, and then met a cat named Eric Bluetooth Griggs, who is Dr. Dre's lead producer at Aftermath. And I took him on as a client. He was my first client that I managed, and that was 11 years ago, so I'm still managing Eric. Ended up at the Peace Hall, moved here to the UK, ended up at the Peace Hall.
So you mentioned the Peace Hall. You won't have heard of Peace Hall. Many of our viewers won't have heard of the Peace Hall. The Peace Hall is like a gladiatorial arena, open air.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. I thought, God, it'd be perfect if we could get boxing on there.
Yes.
But I've been there to see the Jackson, not 5, 4.5, 4, and Sting's played there. Everybody that has anybody has played there.
Yeah, for sure.
And you just wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So you're now having to deal with the artists that you once were.
Exactly.
And so you see a different side to the industry.
Absolutely.
Which was the best side? Your side or the other side?
My side. I think the artist, being an artist, is because you don't have to deal with all the attitudes and the writers and the politics and the promoters and all of that. You can just turn up and be creative. Yes, much more difficult and a lot more stressful behind the scenes and making sure everything works. In my role as the event director, I oversee all the events that happen at the Peace Hall. And so during the concert series, I oversee all of that. So it's a lot of, coordinating and making sure that everything runs smoothly and the artist is happy and the crowd's happy and security and, promoters.
It's a hidden gem.
Yeah,
it is a hidden gem. It's absolutely beautiful. You've managed to get yourself down there.
Yeah.
Fredi, now that's the highs at the beginning. But you've got a book to tell us a story. Why did you feel it's important to tell your story in this book? What is the aim? What is the idea? What is the direction?
It's a few things, John. For one, they say that black men don't talk and we don't speak a lot. A lot of us suffer in silence. And when I was growing up, I went through child abuse and various other things. And for a long time, I kept it to myself. I didn't want to speak about it. And there's a lot of people out there that have gone through same things as I've been through and even worse. So this book is kind of a voice for them to let people know that it's okay to talk. We should come together. We should speak more often, not suffer in silence. If you're a victim of abuse or anything like that, don't hide away for the shame because it wasn't your fault. Do you know what I'm saying? So the book's really a voice for those people, but it's also legacy. Like my name, like when I'm gone, for example, my children, my children's children, their children will, the name's in lights. My mum passed away in 2019. I put her in one of my last movies. So now she will always be seen in that movie. So it's about legacy and leaving a legacy for our children, man. That's the main thing for me.
You touched on abuse and how did you actually get round? How did you actually get your head around it and to actually be able to deal with it, to be the man you are today?
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. Like for years, I blocked it out. Like it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And I remember I made a film called Some Things. About child abuse in the black community, Caribbean and African community. And my sister said to me, look, Fredi, you know what, you're a bit of a hypocrite. You're making a film about abuse, but you're not telling people about what you went through. So I went to BAFTA.
That's what I'm trying to get.
yeah. So she made me a hit show. She called me out for making a movie about everyone else, but not talking about myself. So I talk about it in the book as well. And I mean, I love her for that. She put me into a space that I had no choice but to own what I went through. So I done a big screening at BAFTA in Piccadilly, and I came out and I spoke to the audience and explained my story. And what I found that was people were crying. Everyone was crying. So I'm like, it happened to me. I should be crying. But then loads of people came up to me and said, oh, Fredi, I can't believe it. I was abused by my brother. I was abused by my sister, my dad. I'm like, all these different people who you would never believe were coming up and telling me they've been abused, but they just didn't want to speak about it. And so for me, talking about it and speaking about certain elements that I went through growing up is freeing for a lot of people, man.
Make it real. Tell us just a snippet of so people understand what to expect, how open you are in this book.
I'm wide open, man. Like, you know what I mean? Coming from a rap background, for example, Eminem, the whole 8 Mile thing, he taught me that if you're in a clash, when I used to clash and I used to rap, if everyone knows everything about you, then there's nothing they can throw at you, right? So in my book, I talk about everything from being abused by my carers, got my first gun, to gang violence, to relationships. I talk about everything, but from a way which you would read it and you'll find something in my book that identifies with you. You'll read it and be like, oh yeah, I went through that. And a lot of the time we was taught as young people to be seen but not heard. And that's what's caused a lot of our problems. We were in the corner, must man up, must be strong. But I teach you in my book that it's okay to cry. It's okay to speak out. It's okay to have low days. It's okay to go through something and not feel ashamed about it. And that's kind of...
How did you get to that stage for you to actually say, you know what, this is me. I've got to open up, I've got to cry. I want to pour my heart out to you. I
think it took me many, many years. I guess I joined one of the South London's gangs called Untouchables, and we were doing a lot of dirt growing up. Been through a lot. Like I said, I've had to hold in people's stomachs. I've had people die in my arms, all kinds of stuff. And when my son was born, my oldest son, it was getting too close, and I realised that if I don't change my lifestyle, I'm not going to see this boy grow up. So to come from a care system where I technically didn't really have parents the way I felt, who would I be to not give my son his father? And so at that point in my life, then that was the catalyst for me to start changing the way that I lived. And I think in terms of all the things that I'd been through in my life prior to that, I just always knew there was more, man. You know, like when you feel in yourself that there's more. You know, like sometimes you're living a certain life and you think, nah, but there's more for me. There's more for me. There's more for me. And so that's what it was, really.
I have a friend that she adopted a child from 2 years old, and the child is probably at the stage now, I think she's 14, 15, and they said that now my friend she's struggling because she doesn't feel that she has the support of the authorities, because her daughter is playing out. Her daughter is now, she's in that process of kicking out because she's probably had some trauma that she didn't even know about, or she's looking at thinking, well, my mum didn't actually want me, but she's really giving it hell. And I've told my friend, document it, because the experiences you're going through now is hard, but the journey is as important as the destination. And so on this journey, once you get to the destination, you get through this hard patch, you'll be able to talk to people in your situation and say, this is what's happening, this is how you've got to deal with this is how you've got to try and so for you with your adoptive parents, was it a good relationship?
So my adopted parents were amazing. I mean, I think they spoilt me. I had everything. I mean, I had a monkey. I had like my life was great. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. So back then, they made me feel, even though they were white and I was black, I didn't know I was black. I thought I was a white guy with a tan. I didn't even realize they did, and they never showed me no difference. Do you know what I mean? So my foster carers were amazing.
And this was from what age to what age?
3 months old
to 9.
To 9, 10. Yeah. When I came to London, I literally hated my mum. I didn't understand the Nigerian accent, very thick Nigerian accent. Didn't understand what she was saying, was clashing. I was getting beats all the time. And this goes back to what you said a minute ago. So for that period of time, I was getting so much beats and in trouble for everything. And I really hated my mum. My mum passed away in 2019, and 10 years before she passed away, I managed to turn things around, and we became like best friends. And I remember people saying to me, just when she was sick, she died from dementia, before she passed away, I really wanted to cry, because the stuff that I'd done prior to that, being in the gangs, the weapons, all the things that I'd done that I'm not proud of, people used to call me a monster and he's this and he's that. So I wanted to cry. So when my mum passed away, I was bawling. I was so happy. And people were like, don't cry, Fredi. I'm like, no, I want to cry. What do you mean, don't cry? It was a beautiful thing to cry. And that's what gave me an answer to your last question before. It was that allowed me to realize it's okay to cry, you know, like the emotion the release it gave me when the tears came out was so fulfilling, man, because I'd never cry. When I cry, you know what I mean? As men, you're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to be weak. You can't cry in front of people. You can't cry in front of other men, let alone women. Do you know what I mean? That's what they kind of teach you as you're going older.
So with the crying came the talking. You managed to talk,
with the crying came the talking. With the crying came the being able to speak about things. With the release of being able to say, you know what, it's actually all right. Not feel no way about it. It kind of opened a whole new.
I meet a lot of young black men that are probably not with their partners, but they have children. They struggle with that isolation, because they feel as though they're on their own, and it's hard to speak, to actually say, look, this is the problem, I'm struggling with this, and they just feel it's hard, and they need, you know, there's a group in Sheffield where once a month young black fathers, single fathers, they'll get together to speak to one another, just to share their experiences, just to give each other that support. And this isn't just a black thing. This is the thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
But as a black man, you probably want to speak in. So when my mum passed away, I needed somebody to speak to that would understand my background, understand my culture. I could have spoken to a therapist that was a young guy from university that read the books brilliantly. I wanted it to be something like a black man that understood my culture.
Yeah.
It's not about colour, it's about culture. Understand my culture, understand where I'm coming from. So he'd understand, I'd hope, the grief a little bit. So I knew that was important. So you doing that, you managed to speak to other people that can relate to you, and vice versa. That's what you're doing.
Definitely. It's important. I mean, like, even with the work you do with young people as well, sometimes they get psychologists or sociologists to go and talk to them, and they've never been in the battlefield, they've never been on the roads.
So it's hard to respect.
Yeah, so they're not respecting them. They need people that, I mean, if I'm, for example, you box, if I wanted to learn about boxing, I'm going to talk to someone that boxes and get, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to talk to someone that sells candy floss. Right. Do you know what I mean? Because they're going to help me. And it's the same kind of principle. When I go into schools and prisons and I talk to these young people and we talk about abuse, we talk about gang culture, we talk about death, we talk about all these different things that I've experienced. I've lived it. Yeah. I didn't go to university and study stuff and got a diploma in, do you know what I mean? These is real life stories. And these are the things that lived experiences is what you need to be able to help and pass down to young people, man.
I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Bet Goodwin, for supporting That Boxing Show. Now, if you're interested in having a little flutter, or as I call it after my dad, Benji's Bets, Bet Goodwin's the place to be. Check out Bet Goodwin using the QR code on the screen. Aaron, speaking of lived experiences, you've lived experiences. You know, we spoke about your connection to music and how high it's taken you, and spoken about where you are now. Yeah. Tell us your experiences to this point here, because I thought it was so important that I got you here to be able to relay a message to young men to say, listen to where I'm coming from. You know, I'm your example.
Abuse as well.
Okay.
Growing up. Yeah, so definitely understand that. In rural Kansas, you know, a very similar situation and background of, in rural Kansas, it's predominantly, you know, white, and so growing up black, growing up gay, not being able to make sense of that. Not coming out until I was outed in school. I was an avid writer, journals, wrote all the time, and left one of my journals in the library at school. And someone picked it up and took it to a party with my peers that evening and read it. And so that's how, that happened. Came to school, there was faggot, sissy, you know, all the derogative stuff's on my locker at school. And at 17, in rural Kansas, it was a bit more than I could handle. So I was a competitive swimmer. And I lied to my parents and told them that I would have a better opportunity if I moved to Lawrence, which was the town about 2.5 hours away that had a University of Kansas was there, and my sister lived there. She was getting her master's there. So that happened on a Friday. Over the course of the weekend, I talked my parents into letting me move. Dropped out of my senior year, as my last year at high school, in the middle of my senior year, and moved to Lawrence, where I didn't know anyone. Except my sister. Lived with her, tried to commit suicide at that point because it was just way too much, again, at 17.
Way too much as in internally?
Internally.
Okay.
Yeah, internally. Parsons, the town that I grew up in, that's all I knew. You know, I'd never been to a city until I was 17 years old, you know, because it's rural, it's country. We raised black Angus cows, and my grandfather was a hog farmer, you know, so country. So city, and you know, I didn't know anything about city life. And so it was just, you know, very overwhelming. So left all my friends, everything I knew, my parents, my family. So yeah, I just, like you said, internally it was a bit more than I could handle. Then just got involved in, you know, drinking and drugging and that kind of thing, just to take the pain away from that experience. Attempted to go to college, to uni, but flunked out. You know, that wasn't my thing at the time. But when I moved to Minnesota, that's when things kind of changed for me, because that was far enough away where I could kind of create a new life for myself where no one knew me at all. And that's when I got into the love of focusing on music and jazz in particular, as I mentioned, and just, pursued that and focused on that. I also worked at the time, because that was a lot of people during the late 80s and early 90s were dying of HIV. So I got involved with HIV advocacy and education, and worked for the Department of Health, doing outreach and giving out safe sex packs to street workers and people going into different areas in Minneapolis and educating folks on HIV. So I had a kind of a dual career going on, singing professionally and working for the Department of Health at the same time. And then so I did that for 20 years in Minneapolis. And as I mentioned, then moved to LA. And
Wow.
Yeah.
What made you come to England?
Met a dude, my current husband, made me come to England. He grew up in a small town called Penistone, not too far from here, a little village. And
It's like the sticks again. There's nothing there.
that's how we related. That's how we, that's how we relate.
That's like a deal that where I'm from.
So he was in Nottingham Trent University. I was in LA working for Morris Hayes and Prince. Prince had a series of personal DJs, as you do, that played at his different parties and things like that. And one of his DJs was a friend of mine named Larry Bell. Peter was interviewing him for a paper at Nottingham Trent, and I happened to walk by. There was a video call that they were doing, and I happened to walk by, and after the call, I was like, "Who's that dude you're talking to on your video call?" And he's like, "Some guy from England, blah 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 blah." So, I sent him a friend request on Facebook.
Like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do.
That's what these youngsters do. Social media.
It's funny when they hear the
Youngsters.
They don't even ask for phone numbers. Can I get your snap?
Yeah, that's it. I don't get that. That's the yellow one. Isn't it? Yeah, all right.
No, youngster, I'm 60, man. But there is a 21-year age difference. But anyway, so I contacted him on Facebook, and he was at the time seeing someone, so I just left that alone. 2 years later, we connected again, started communicating, and the rest is history. I moved here, we got married, been married now for 9 years, been together 11 years. So that's what, I know, right?
Did you have friends?
Yes.
What was he like?
Intense is probably the best adjective for Prince. First met him when I was a jazz singer, and he came there was a club called Jasmine's in Minneapolis, and his saxophonist, Walter Chancellor Jr., was playing for me on my gig, and so he came in and just very unassuming, just sat in this corner in the back of the club, and that was the first time that I met him. But yeah, just he could come into this studio and know where he was just a visionary, would know exactly how it needed to be laid out, and visionary and just very precise, and knew exactly what he wanted, and if it wasn't that way, then you needed to get out of the way. It was just very precise.
I've known you about what?
We've known each other almost 10 years now.
Yeah, almost 10 years, a while.
Yeah.
And then a few years ago, you told me you had some bad news, and I was like, nah, this is for real.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with stage 3 prostate cancer last April. Unbeknownst to me, I knew that I was going to the bathroom a lot at night, but that was the only symptom that I had, really. So my GP, I told him the symptoms, and he was like, well, we should do a PSA test. And so we did. I was incredibly high. And did the biopsy and all of that and the scan. And I found out that I had stage 3 prostate cancer, and which was a shock. So I opted to have a prostatectomy, have it removed. They gave me different options of treatment, but I just wanted it gone. I just wanted it out of me, to be honest with you. But with that comes a lot of side effects that I still am dealing with, a year and a half later, because when you have a prostatectomy, they also take out your seminal vesicles, so you no longer, produce any type of sperm or semen or anything like that. You have a period of time where you just have erectile dysfunction, so that's still happening a year later. That it's not happening at all. And then you have urine inconsistency, so I have to wear an adult diaper every day still to this day, because I don't have control of my bladder. So those are the side effects of the surgery. But for me, dealing with those side effects is worth being alive, I guess. I'd rather be here than not. And if that's the price that I have to pay for being here, it does fuck your head up, though, I'm not gonna lie.
You made it quite public around the time.
Yeah.
And you did that for a reason.
I did.
What was the reason?
Because black men, all men, need to be educated about it, particularly black men, because 1 in 8 black men will have a prostate cancer diagnosis. And so it's important to be tested. If you're over the age of 40, for a black man, you need to be tested every year, because for whatever reason, it's more prevalent in our community. We hate going to the doctor.
We don't like talking.
We don't like doing that. Man. That's not what we do. So that's why I went public, because it's important to get that information out there and to show people that it can happen to anybody.
If you'd have found out earlier, is there anything you could have changed, you'd have done, could have made a difference? Yeah,
if I would have known earlier, I wouldn't have had a prostatectomy. I probably would have opted for surveillance or another radiotherapy or something like that, because once you have a prostatectomy, it's a wrap. It's.
So I have 2 friends. One of them, we have like a friendship group, and one of them went really quiet for about a year, and then my other friend, he had the biopsy and everything, and because of your story, I said, you need to tell the boys this. Put it on a group. Tell the boys this. Tell them the journey. Let them know the journey. They looked, checked his numbers, and everything. Gave him an option: get it removed, get it treated, get it monitored. I can remember going in the hospital with him when he was going through the results of his biopsy. And we were sat down, and the nurse told him the options that were there, but she was constantly pushing getting it removed, even though she said we could monitor it. And my friend, like, you would have been shocked. He's like, my God, he just wants it out of him. So Tony's his name. I said, Tony, listen. And whilst the nurse was there, I said, Tony, listen, don't disrespect, but this woman's telling you to, she's giving the details to get this thing removed next week. Even though she tells you there's options, other options, just stop, just calm down, just stop. Because she was trying to give me a number to ring the doctor, get it all set up. I said, just stop. Just think about what you're doing, just stop. And then let's sit back. We got in the car, he was upset, and I said, she said it can be monitored, so therefore it can be monitored. It's not immediately.
That's right.
And cut a long story short, he opted to get it monitored. From 3 months later, from his numbers being at 6, we're down to 1.9.
Amazing.
Because he to get it monitored, I encourage fasting. I do. I think in my opinion, I think
change lifestyle.
Change your lifestyle, change what you're eating, change what. Just see if you can do something. If it doesn't work, then the option's there. And we put this on our friendship group, and when he put it on our friendship group, the friend that had disappeared for about a year popped up, and he said, I had that. He said, I wish I did the same.
Yeah.
And they got it monitored.
Yeah.
Because he was frightened and he wanted it out of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
he did, and so that was it. He said, I wish, what you just said,
Yeah.
I wish I actually just looked at the other options.
Yeah, just chilled for a bit.
And there are many black men in that situation, many black men in that situation.
Yeah.
I lost my stepfather to prostate cancer this year, my biological father to lung cancer, to stomach cancer this year. So it's understanding, you know what, this is a frightening thing. This is a conversation we should have.
Yeah.
You're a real live example of saying, you know what, I wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have done it this way. And so it's just creating awareness for people to think, look, I need to be serious about this.
Yeah. It's like you said, Johnny, I mean, it's the shock of it, I think, you know, and the fear that it brings to you and looking at your mortality in the face. It's challenging, you know, and making a decision in that headspace, yeah, that's hard, you know, but now in hindsight, yeah, I probably would have given myself some time and just monitored and, you know, kicked back and, okay, let's see what the numbers do over a course of time and that kind of thing. You know, now, because like I said, a year and a half later, I'm still dealing with the side effects, still. And that will be for some time, you know, while I'm healing.
Life, bro. That's
it.
You know what, the thing is, yes, we do need to have these conversations. They're very important. But, you know, I want to say, you know, what great kudos to you, bro, because having these platforms and allowing men like us to come on and talk is inspiring a lot of people. And you know what I'm saying? We can have these conversations ourselves in the pub or in the bar. But what you've done now with this is it's going out to a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And talking about groups where people can just speak to each other. And unfortunately, we men are stupid. We don't speak enough. We don't have the conversation, the uncomfortable conversations that have to be had, which can be life changing. And I suppose at some point you looked at your life thinking, boy, now look what I've done in my life. Look where I've been and the decisions I've made. As I say, the journey is as important as the destination for wherever we are in life. And I suppose trying to spread the word and speak to people, get them to understand.
Yeah, I post and talk about it as much as I possibly can, you know, and the other difficult part of it was it happening here in the UK. All of my family's in America. So I had support, absolutely had support, but there's nothing like your family at the end of the day. So just going through it with my husband, who has been absolutely amazing, but not having that family support, that was...
I met your brother last year.
You did?
Good guy,
They did, yeah.
I met him last year. I thought, that's nice.
Yeah.
I just smiled, I thought, yeah, you look like you should. I just smiled, I thought, that's nice. It's nice to have family around. Family's wealth.
Yes.
Family's wealth, it's important.
That's it.
So we'll touch on a higher note. Tell me where you are, what's coming up in the future. Tell us all about it.
It's crazy out here. All right, so I just done the film Jafaican with Peter Andre. So I wrote that, I directed it, I produced it. So that was...
It got a bit of flack, why?
You asking me, Jay? Like, you know what? I tell you what happened, right?
It's funny.
It's funny. It came out. People just jumped on this bandwagon, like, you're doing this, you're doing that, but no one had seen it. So they see Peter Andre with the locks on, and automatically they've assumed something. But watch the film. I don't mind. Listen, give me a cup of tea. I can look at it. If I don't like it after I've tasted it, I'll complain. But I can't complain about something if I tasted it.
Watch the film. Watch the film.
It's funny. It's a funny film. Well, you said it's funny.
Yeah.
You think it's funny?
Yeah, it's funny.
Jason is funny. I just finished a big film with Cynthia Bailey, Leon Robinson from Cool Runnings, big Christmas film. So that's doing its thing.
What's the film called?
Jingle Hells. It's Hells.
Jingle Hells.
Yeah.
When's it out?
Not sure yet, man. It's not based on, but it's like the premise is dad got 15 kids and he doesn't look after his kids, and he thinks that children just need money and gifts and don't need time. So it's kind of like the good dad story, but kind of covered with Christmas. So that's coming out hopefully this Christmas or next Christmas. My book, this is like a part of a trilogy. So this is boy 0 to 16, and then man is 16 to 28, and then father's 28 till...
Why wouldn't you make that into a film?
It's coming.
Oh,
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. You know what I mean? You know what? I think like when you do a book and it's from the book, it's a lot more powerful than doing it the other way around. I want people to actually read and kind of feel my story, man. There's a lot of people that are going to read this book and be like, oh wow, I didn't know. Most people have seen me running around over the years doing music, rapping, bodyguarding, security, doing events, but not many people know my story. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So this is a chance for people like I've known you for a while, but half the things you're going to read in here, you're going to be like, I didn't even know that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, even my own brothers and sisters didn't know I was abused for many, many years. I didn't tell them. So it's like...
Did you have a ghostwriter or did you...
Nah, I wrote, man. All myself. Yeah, man. It's all coming from me. I write in the first person. So when you read it, it's like I'm talking to you. Yeah. It's that kind of style. It's funny, but it's also serious. Some of the more darker stuff, I made a bit comical so that people could digest it a lot better. So that's that. And I've got the 2 award shows, as you know. I've got Power of a Man Awards, which is the only award show in the country that honours men of colour.
What date is it? Where is it now?
November the 23rd. It's in Covent Garden at the Grand Connaught Rooms.
Very posh.
Yeah, it's like Wakanda in there. We're breaking up the tuxedos. We're doing the tuxedos. We're doing the red carpet. We've got the London Community Gospel Choir performing. Nice. We have Slim doing comedy. Me and Jay are going to be up there. See, right now he's interviewing us, but I'm coming for you, bro. I've got a whole lot of questions for him. Yeah, so we're going to have like a table side conversation about your career and how inspirational he's been. You know what I mean? Like, it's a beautiful thing when men can come together and have these conversations of inspiration. Like, it's growing up. We never had... My mentor was the Incredible Hulk. Right. You know what I mean? That was my role model, Hulk and Superman. I used to come out to the cinemas thinking I could fly. You know what I mean? But now, there's real life superheroes, man. Like, do you know what I mean? I look at you and what you've achieved, and I'm like, I'm inspired, man. Listening to your story, I'm like, I'm inspired. So it's important to have these conversations so the younger versions of us can see us and be like, wow. Do you know what I mean? This is what we want. This is who we want to be.
It's about legacy, like you said.
Legacy, man. It's beautiful, man.
That's what it is.
And what's to come? What we got to look forward to? What is the Peace Hall going to bring us over the next coming year or so?
Yeah. So
I keep banging on about this place.
You should perform.
Listen to me. I keep. So first of all, the Sound of Blackness. Yeah. Always loved them, and then I'm like, I know spots. So I always loved them. You check them out. Check out. Were they originally a gospel?
Gospel. Yeah. That's how it started.
Honestly. Black Butterfly, what a track.
Yeah, Black Butterfly. Yeah, Janet Jackson, she discovered us, actually. That's how the group was discovered.
Did she perform there as well, Janet?
No, just the Jacksons, her brothers, performed at the Peace Hall, but she was in Minneapolis, because that's where Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were based there. Jam and Lewis, Prince, Janet spent a lot of time there, and she heard the group and told Jam and Lewis they should sign the group, and they did, and she's responsible for the success of the Sounds of Blackness.
What artists, old or new, are you going to bring to the piece?
I can't say the artist, Johnny. Come on. But yeah, we're currently working on the programming for next year. There'll be 36 shows, and we're 17 in now. So every Friday, Nikki Chance Thompson, the CEO who you met, we have a meeting with the promoters, Cuff and Taylor Live Nation, and talk about the acts that we're going to bring for next year and that kind of thing, and involve the Peace Hall Academy, which is a really important piece of the Peace Hall, that a program that we have at the Peace Hall for young creatives. To get them involved in songwriting and music production, engineering, live events.
That's important, because young people, that a younger version of you, because you stumbled along your way.
Yeah, we never had, we had to form our own. Do you know what I mean? Now there's people out here like yourself that can. Do you still sing?
I do. Yeah.
You should make him sing, bro.
No. He could sing too. Did you know that?
We should just be a boy band and do.
I'll be the backing dancer. I'll be the backing dancer.
They always telling me, Freddie, spit a bar. My son's always trying to get me back in the studio. I'm like, I might go back in the booth. I might just go back in the booth and do like a little EP.
Something.
Yeah. Then so you could be my bodyguard. And you could book me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Listen to me. You were talking, I'm thinking, he's got a right smile on his face because he knows all of these people out right there and work with all these people.
I'm definitely. I think I'm gonna go back in the booth and do like a little EP. Just not because I want to be a rapper anymore, but just because I can. You know, ones they're like, in this country, I think music's very ageist.
Yeah.
Out of the country, it's not. And I can still spit. You know what I mean? I can still rap. So,
Well, we need to talk then, because as I mentioned earlier, one of the people that I manage is Dre's producer. So
okay, see the connector right there.
So the Peace Hall, does it ever have theatrical performances, or is it just music?
We haven't had theatrical performances. We've had what are called spectacles, like Cirque du Soleil, or in the courtyard, that kind of thing. But from June until August, just the concert series. That's the main thing, and then the Christmas markets that we have starting in November. But yeah, not so much theater stuff. I'd love to get more sporting events there, because I think it just lends its space, for that.
I keep banging on about this place. I'll try and get the link underneath this, of course, and of course for your book as well.
Yeah.
I keep banging on about the Peace Hall because to me it's a proper hidden gem, and I was like, Halifax, you wouldn't think, but it's a proper beautiful setup.
It's incredible. It's like something in Italy when you walk in. It was a cloth hall built in 1779. King George, he had it built for 1 day a week on Saturdays, and they traded pieces of cloth there. So that's what it's, and it's the only standing Georgian cloth hall in the world. So it's very unique, very special. I've been told by the CEO to ask you to be an ambassador while I was here for the Peace Hall. So
hell yeah!
We need to. So we're gonna have a little ceremony for you and bring you up. And
I'd love to. I'd love to sing the praise. Listen, I'm a northern boy, so anything up north that actually promotes up north, and if it's good, it's good. And
you gotta come up.
Honestly, it's a different gravy. It's a different gravy. But then when I've mentioned it to people, I've been there. I'm like, why are you not telling me this?
Yeah.
So that's it. I suppose it's like, I tell you, it's like a touch of Covent Garden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a touch of Covent Garden. And you just think, wow.
Yeah, it's special. So yeah, we're just getting next year ready to go, and that's the main thing.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Short and sweet. You've travelled all the way up from London. I thank you very much for that.
Having me, man.
And you've travelled all the way from Kansas.
He just put his feet together.
clicked my heels.
Yeah, he was here.
This is That Boxing Show with me, Johnny Nelson. Just had something a little different and a little special. Thank you for joining us.